So let me touch a little bit of those ingredients. And they really involve transformation, which is a vertical thing. That's God doing stuff in us. And sustainable growth, and that's us working things out. And I really value both. I value both in how churches operate or should operate, how the kingdom is, that it's a mixture of download, a grace movement of God, uh, and the working it out. And so that's what we want to consider. So I want to talk about 4 different things that are important to gain ground. First is clarity. And clarity has really 2 dimensions to it. There is clarity of where you are, and there's clarity of where you want to go, what kind of change you want to see, or what you want to accomplish. And so it's like, you could say, Memphis came up a couple times there, could say, I want to go to Memphis. Well, that's clarity where you want to go. Do you know where you are so that we can plot a course there? And so an accurate understanding of where you are in whatever arena it is. It could be your biblical understanding. Okay, I'd like to know the Bible. Okay, where are you now in your understanding of the Bible? Do you know there's an Old Testament and a New Testament? Do you know how those work? Okay, going to clarify, here's where you are. What would be the next step? That's true in workplace. That's true in your spiritual life or experience of practicing stillness. I want to be somebody who can be still before God. Okay, where are you now? What are you dealing with in that? What have you tried? So clarity involves those 2 dynamics. Where are you and where do you want to go? The clearer you are able to define those 2 things, the better chance you have to develop clarity. If you're clear on where you are, and sometimes those are people who really emphasize how they're feeling, how they're doing in life, but they're not clear of where they want to go, which is unfortunately the picture I have of most Christians. Do not have a growth plan or what they're going after. They may have some steps, but not for any reason necessarily. I want to read through the Bible in a year. Why? Where are you going? What are you after? I want to learn to pray better. What do you mean? Clarifying where you are and where you want to go is big. Does that make sense? First point, clarity is big for traction. Second point, commitment. Oh, that's one of the, there's the 4 C words here, but the commitment one is obviously a big one. And we can often think we're committed, but what does it mean? Ultimately, the question is, so are you all in or how in? How can you tell your level of commitment? Could be the amount of passion you have. Could mean the energy you're bringing to bear. If you even think like, okay, I want to have a better quiet time. Let's say that was a thing. That was part of your clarity is I want to have a better quiet time. By that, I mean, I want to be more engaged with God in my quiet time. All right. I might want to stir up passion and I want to stir up my energy to be there. It's not going to work as well if I'm choosing a low energy time. It's not going to work as well if I'm choosing a distracted space. So the commitment is going to also be related to energy and passion. And there could be some other things that are involved, but we may have clarity of where we want to go, but we're not committed to a process. So you can't get there. So if you want to drive from where any of us live to Memphis, it's going to take at least enough commitment to figure out how we're going to probably need to do overnight, whether that's staying in the car. It's going to need commitment to like finances related to gas or however we're going to get there. So it's going to be some commitment. You won't just end up being there. You're not going to end up at the Grand Canyon without commitment to get there. So clarity, commitment. I think that a question can always be, whatever it is that you're wanting to attain, what percent is your commitment level? And to be honest with that is going to be pretty important, but it's going to determine, that's going to be a significant determination of the chances of transforming traction. Third one is consistency. And that's one that many people really don't like, the idea. A book, and I even gave, I'll probably put a link. Dan, were you able to watch that habits thing that I sent you or not yet?
Yeah, it's really good.
You thought that was pretty good? So I think I'll try to put that link into maybe the email of the recording of this. And so it's about, I don't know, it's about 25 minutes long, but it's about how to develop habits and why habits are really important. I think it's that is kind of the guy's name is James Clear. He wrote a book.
Atomic Habits.
What is it again?
Atomic Habits.
Yeah, Atomic Habits. Yep. But very good. And he has a very interesting kind of a thesis, and that is, goals aren't really the thing. That's the end. He said what transforms your life is habits. And the best way to build habits is actually the beginning, not the end. It's like, what do you do that initiates that activity? So that'll be that's going to look for when I send the recording of this. It's a very good 25-minute video that I'd recommend. But consistency, what I'm suggesting is developing new and healthy habits change your life. I don't think there's even anything that's clear. I mean, that's even close. Remember, there's the vertical transformation, but for the sustained growth, habits is going to be huge. So, I've started again, read the Bible from beginning to end in a year. And so I'm on week 2. I'll tell you what, there is no way to get through that book without consistency. That thing that's a book. It is a book. It's like a lot. This book that not only is it a lot, it is not an easy read. There's a lot of interesting content in. So, but consistency, that healthy habit of what it looks like, your commitment for it to be actually worked out is going to take time. My roommate in college, we would go running. We ran a few times a week together. We ran a 3-mile park course. He's a pretty big guy, but that was we didn't go longer than that. And he was married, had 2 daughters, and then his wife kind of went off the rails and she divorced him, and he got married again. And this second wife, she likes to exercise. And so he's my age, so he's 64, and she's about 59, something like that. But she's a nurse, but she's an exercise queen. Well, he's a pretty compliant guy. And so she's got him whipped into shape. Like this, I don't even know who this guy is anymore. And he just, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, they did an Ironman, a full-on Ironman in Maryland. And for those of you who don't know, that is 2.5 miles swimming, followed by 120 miles on a bike, followed by a marathon, 26.2 miles. It's 140.2 miles. Now, I thought I really did it up when I did the Boston Marathon. That's like just a little piece of this thing. And they're 64 and they both made it. I mean, it's like, what? That takes consistent training. You do not do an Ironman just jumping in. Nobody can. Now, once you've done some, you're in a different place. But again, the consistency is a big deal. So we got clarity, commitment, consistency. And then the last C I'll say is content. And by that, in relation to this program, content meaning direction. And so in relation to this program, you got a double amount of the content there's curriculum. Really, it's all three things: curriculum, coaching, and community. That all supplements the content piece for direction. The best way to get somewhere is a proven plan to go there. As Dave Luck flies his plane, he's not inventing how to do it. He's following a plan. He was trained how to fly. And so that's what we want, is a content, a direction, a plan to which we are, that fits the clarity of where we want to go. If you have a great plan, but it's going nowhere, that's not going to bring change. Again, that's a lot of people have a spiritual growth plan with no direction, except this kind of general thing. The clearer that can be, we can now have milestones along the way. So a proven plan, some kind of counsel or coaching, and what I've described earlier here, the community piece, is a powerful lateral support. Others who are going for it. That lateral support is like the treated roads. It's the atmosphere. Here you are, you're wanting transformation, but what do you got around you? People who are going for it. They've treated the roads. It's plowed. They're doing it. And so you can come out and do it. So that's a big piece. All of those. Clarity, commitment, consistency, content, or any of those words. Content, I'm saying curriculum, coaching, and community. All lots of C's tonight. What I'd like you to do is, first of all, I'll see if you have any questions, but I'm going to break you into groups, and I'll put those 4 words in the chat thing. But I'd really like you to think about, kind of wrestle with each other. Wrestle with yourself and share with each other. How clear am I on what I'm even doing? Why am I doing this? But what am I doing in life right now? Where does it fit over this last quarter of the year? Whatever it is, that clarity piece. How are you doing in terms of clarity? Can you articulate what you're after right now? How are you doing in the commitment factor? I've shared with for some reason, I've been in a little bit of a slump, and I haven't experienced this maybe ever, but not for a while. And I think it kind of broke today. I don't know why, but my energy's kind of back. But so my commitment to do even some of the things that I want to do was really waning. And so, I just been praying about it. You don't just force your way out of it. To me, a lot is agreement and connection. But so what's your commitment level to the growth you want to see happening? How consistent are you? So it could be that you got commitment, but you've never been able to be consistent. Well, I can tell you that until you learn to master that, you won't be getting the traction you could get. Some people have consistency, but it's just repetitive stuff, and it's not mixed with that kind of like commitment. Remember, passion and energy. So they have consistency, but it doesn't have a growth factor to it because it's it's dun, 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 dun. What we want is boom, boom. You've heard me say nah, pop, 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 nah, pop, pop, pop. And so I'm moving ahead with the consistent thing, responding to some of the things along the way, but generally moving ahead. Clarity, commitment, consistency, content.